We all go a little mad sometimes. Haven't you?
I'm gonna need Kaiser to regret ever feeling the Mojave's breeze under his skirts. Linnaeus has to realize what a logistics crisis is without the 100 speech check. I am to become the worst ally ever, sabotaging and betraying the Legion at every step, making them regret ever trusting me. Attempting to become as vilified as possible, and when I hit a brick wall with the in-game reputation, I'm just gonna resort to sneak crits and reverse pickpocketing until it's moot, meaningless to its very core. And no one that had or has been helping them, no one is safe. I'm gonna show Joshua Graham the difference between the burned man and burned man. And then I'll do what the Malpais legate couldn't. Along the way, Kaiser is gonna realize that if a funeral's a celebration of life, the Legion will be partying long after his final breath. Make no mistake about why we are here. This is an extermination. And so, can you beat Fallout New Vegas as the villain's villain? A tickle to the brain and a weird dream later, and the courier is hellbent on making a skirt baldy cry. So begins the tale of the Legion's worst nightmare. Bigus Dickus. For the special, I'm gonna go with 9 in strength and luck, 7 in endurance and agility, 6 intelligence, and 1 in both perception and charisma. The tagged skills are lockpick, speech, and unarmed, and the traits that most define us are skilled and built to destroy. Doc Mitchell has no clue what I'm planning, otherwise he would have finished what Benny started. But I thank both the kind doctor and the good people of Good Springs, and go on to loot everything that I deem worth it. First though, I'm gonna thank the toaster for giving me an amazing window in the old apartment Benny gifted me. Then, anti-venom, stimpaks, ammo, and magazines made the bulk of what I got. And in the schoolhouse, I do the town a favor and get rid of the mantises. In the safe, I get me that sweet stealth boy. Cause right now, I'm not too pleased about the Khan's smirk during the cutscene, and well, if I want to thoroughly explain to every single great Khan how I feel, I'll need it. They're also Legion allies, so if that's the cake, Benny's gig makes it a cherry on top. And I feel like going for a slice right about now. So I get some more memorabilia from the cemetery, mostly so I can later explain to Lucius how he could organize Fortification Hill's upcoming graveyard expansion. Also got some moonshine for the roads and Sunny's extra bobby pins. We went over some target practice and Joe Mama's done being nice.
I'm done being nice.
Meanwhile, I'm not done stacking up on Stealth Boy, so I followed Cobb and I cashed out on a 5-finger coupon for his. That's about it for Good Spring, so we're going north, baby! Through Cazadors and Deathclaws. Well, through mountains and Stealth Boys, and I got stuck. After a couple tries, and since Cazadors aren't smart enough to go around, I just gotta make sure to pop up a Stealth Boy as soon as the game chuckles telling me we're in danger. Keeping your distance is enough for the Deathclaws to leave you alone. And near Quarry Junction's other entrance we find a group with recognizable attire. Great Khans. Melissa tells us that she had nothing to do with the ones that helped Benny steal from us. But between having been shot by her buddies, her telling me that she wouldn't have ratted them out even if she knew about it, and the Khans being allies of Kaiser, well, I can only quote Joshua Graham. Make no mistake about why we are here. This is an extermination, and it's one that's gonna start with sneak crits and machetes. Melissa going down is enough to get me vilified with every single great Khan in existence, even though I won't be shot on sight by the others, as it would happen with the Powder Gangers had I killed Cobb. Silly, but I'll take it. So I slash my way into telling them that I too value loyalty, except it's more to my well-being than to master complainers. The Khans genuinely believe that Bitter Springs wasn't deserved. Hell, I know the NCR recognizes their mistake, but let's not beat around the bush. The Khans got nothing short of what they were doing to others. Anyways, these guys went down a lot easier than I thought they would, and that gets me some great toys going forward. An early trail carbine is a godsend, despite the low ammo I've got for it. And to get out of here, I am forced to press the button on the only other stealth boy that I've got. Alas, I was able to get past the horde of Deathclaws, but as I'm descending out of Quarry Junction's premises, I see a stray one that Josh Sawyer put there just to fuck with us. I get it though, wouldn't have it any other way, since, he's pretty easy to avoid. Thing is, the Stealth Boy's effects went out. So, wanting to avoid Bonnie Springs since the Vipers there mean nothing to me, I just made my way towards the mountains, and as I'm going past Spring Mountain Ranch State Park, a couple mantises chase me. Laughable, my good sir. Anyways, we see Red Rock Canyon, our first real target of the run. In the Khan's tent, I get their medics and turbo, more out of habit than an intent of using it since I'll actually be avoiding using chems. And as I'm taking a nap to make it daytime for better lighting, Malcolm fucking Holmes shows up. Just to show me he's mastered the art of teleportation. Then, he follows it up by saying he's been stalking me. Can't say that I fancy that, so we're gonna put him to rest, permanently. In the longhouse, I make a beeline to Carl's room and grab his journal from the footlocker. You see, Carl, he's an ambassador for the Legion. He is there to make sure the Khan side with the Legion out of NTR's spite alone. Thanks to 2 reloads and the crit, Carl barely survived the first hit and quickly joined Melissa on the big sleep. Funny enough, despite all of the commotion and noise, since I used a melee weapon, or maybe because I closed the door, or both, no one in the longhouse cared, and that got me to level 2. I put the points into lockpick, since we'll need 50 of those for later, and I took the 10% extra damage from the confirmed Bachelor perk. I then discovered you cannot give Carl's journal to Papa Khan if Carl's dead. Bummer. And as I'm thinking of a strategy to take everyone out, we're gonna start with pickpocketing Papa Khan's room key. He goes to sleep, I equip the Trail Carbine, and we one-shot. Best part about it, no one again seems to aggro. It's nice to see the people of the Mojave respecting closed doors policies this well, and fucking hell, that looks like something else. Anyways, I decided it would be smarter to try and go after the roaming Khans in the outside first, and it was. Through sneak crits, I am basically a ghost become God of Death. Regis, Diane, and Jack followed suit. And so did lots of randos and Jerry the Punk. For level 3, I used the spare points into speech. That'll be for Lucius later after a certain medical misfortune. And in the longhouse, well, doubting the machete would do me any favors, I pulled the carbine out once again and threw headshots and a bit of VATS. Red Rock Canyon is now the void of life. The Khans still aren't all eliminated, so I make my way to their armory just by the canyon's entrance, and this duo has no clue on what has just ensued, so I show them instead of telling them. And there's still more, but they are a ways away. I looted everything that was useful, so plenty of weapons and ammo, did some repairs, sold some junk to Chet, and went to Gene skydiving to loot some powder ganger explosives to avoid them noticing me. And since I've no qualms with these guys, I just grabbed the whole box until they weren't detecting me for its dynamite. In Sloan, Chomps warns me about the Deathclaws. I, feeling sorry, tell him about his daughter. Death. Melissa, by the way. Then go on to steal both skill books, some first aid items, and some caps. Also strip their generators for parts just to fuck with them. And here's Snuffles, she's a cutie. Dead though. Because the last time I played the villain, I got a ridiculous amount of views. Well, those are nice. And they are not on the algorithm is you. So is this what you want? Are you happy now? Snuffles did nothing wrong. Oh well, gotta test things. Life on the desert can be cruel. And on the way to Prim, I made sure to get some more boomsticks by once again dragging the entire container out of the powder ganger's line of sight. Then we make our first contact with the NCR. An NCR trooper tells me the town is off limits, as if I cared. Now, let's get one thing straight about the NCR. I am not here to help them, unless I'm making it so much worse for a Legion's ally or member. I'm here to sabotage, viciously, not to be a double agent in disguise. And if you haven't read between the lines, there's 2 DLCs that I'll have to go to. But without anything to do in Prim, I made my way to Jackrabbit Springs, ran past the Sat Slugs, got another free stealth boy, got to level 4, points to speech, and I took the educated perk. Thomas and Jacqueline donated their Star Cups to me, and there is something I want to test in Nipton later. Vulpes can thank Mars, cause he'd be pissing his pink furry thong if I didn't want to use this run to meet someone else later in Nipton. So, yeah, I went around the town through the Mojave Drive-In, Wolfhorn Ranch, where I made sure to get another skill book and chopper, and in Searchlight. The NCR continues its habits of telling me that places are off limits. Aster, he was nice about it though. It was more of a warning that the whole town's now cosplaying as a microwave. And Aster, he's probably the best example where I'll be helping the NCR, not to help the NCR, but to get a ton of XP on something that I would do either way. So I run through Searchlights, avoiding all of the ghoul troopers. Eventually they just get bored of chasing you. And you know who we meet along the way? Anders.
Agent caught me. Said this was the penalty for drug runners.
Man, the Khan should have really chosen their allies better. Not only does Kaiser consider them useless savages, but chem dealers that didn't even realize that the Legion considers them degenerates that belong on a cross. Anyways, I gave him his last haircut and told the Legion explorer that came a-running that I am but a humble trader passing through. I'll trade in their lives for a smirk, but he doesn't need to know that. Especially because before rendering the whole settlement useless, I want to do a couple things. Like getting recompense of the fallen, the Legion patrol notes, hearing my favorite voice line.
When will we be free?
Say it again.
When will we be free?
It's just so burdening to the soul. Now, it's in the Legion's worst interest that I take away their slaves, or well, as Canyon Runner puts it, their captures. Sure thing, buddy. Thanks to a speech magazine, I managed to convince the guy that one of the hostages had a condition called pustular hypomyalgia, which is a much better term than failing the speech check would have been. That's for sure. Anyways, the Weathers, they owe me 150 caps now.
Thank you.
Aster gets his patrol notes and then asks me to bug the Legion's radio. There's absolutely no one in the station under Aurelius of Phoenix's office, so I just get in and do the thing. At level 5, I get speech to 50 and an arm to 53, and then I visit the Cottonwood Overlook. Here, we've got an extremely convenient truck awaiting a 50 lock-picking check. It just so happens that it's filled with irradiated barrels. Long story short, Cottonwood Cove becomes the second mass grave caused by Bigus. Dicus. So, naturally, I went on to loot everything that was useful for me. Aurelius's Kenturian helmet. It's awesome, especially this early. I then went back to Doc Mitchell so he could heal my rats for 100 caps, and Astor can barely believe we've done it, and I get 900 experience points. That levels me up again, and the NCR now accepts me. Ooh! Not on this one, buddy. I put the points into an armed, took the toughness perk, and an NCR ranger came to me to give me a two-way emergency radio since, and I quote, I've done a good turn for the NCR. The ranger unfortunately had the worst possible migraine. A subtle reminder that me helping the NCR is nothing but a happy little accident. That gets me mixed reputation with them, and I go down the Golden Gecko route, instead of the grenade launcher guy went towards Novak. In town, the first thing I hear is Victor asking me about butter in his butt. Nah man, fuck that. Thanks for good springs, but you gotta go. And so has Jeannie May. Selling Boone's pregnant wife to the Legion is usually enough, but on this one, it's just that she was helping the Legion. So, I buttered her butt, asked her to call me a biscuit, and put a dynamite stick up her. She went all over the floor, and that's when I see Manny. I'll take the holotape. Thank you. Seems the man that shot us made his way to Boulder City. But before we check on that though, I'm gonna sell some stuff to Cliff Briscoe and cross the bridge east of Novak. The first thing that I see is a dead recruit legionary, and further up the road we meet Ranger Milo. Once again, we kinda share a goal with the NCR over Nelson, but I've got a much funnier idea. Milo just so happens to be looking for someone just like me, and he's got a twisted idea, Jesus! He wants me to shoot the Legion's hostages, NCR members, so the NCR can storm the place in peace? Fucking hell, thought I was the villain. So I'm gonna show him what happens when you try to out-evil me. Wanna team up and go over Nelson, huh? How about I do nothing? This ain't my problem. He doesn't have a sniper rifle, so he just engages in combat with the closest Legion members, as I wait to see who comes on top. Me. It was me. Well, it was him, but then it was me. And in Nelson I go on to meet Dead Sea. Quite a prophetic name, as he is to become oh so salty right before changing into a Red Sea. My man doesn't like it if you call him holding a position a stalemate. And I don't think he enjoyed the dynamite up his pocket either, but oh well, I did. That's how I first got hated by the Legion. So I'm gonna have to make use of the trail carbine once again, and never mind, I'm full on vilified now. That's nothing to worry about, and outside I'm gonna give the NCR hostages the same exact treatment that I'm gonna get to all the other Legion members around. Dead Sea's legacy in Nelson has been ruined, so next stop, Tacaticup Mine, just by Nelson. Here, I am surprised to see the Legion being so chill and... Oop, never mind, it seems they caught on. Anyways, my one target here is Alexis. Unfortunately for me, I'll also have to deal with a dozen other enemies, but to be fair, it's mostly just recruits and mongrels, so it wasn't exactly a pain to deal with. All it took was a couple stim packs and a handful of ammo reloading. Funny enough, and even though that there's no loading screens in between, the recruits at the entrance didn't care, didn't even notice the commotion at all. Hey, I'll take it. And these are not named, and they do respawn, so yeah, I'm not gonna go after them. Going north from Novak, I pass through the Eldorado gas and service, making sure to avoid some more Vipers with a grenade launcher along the way, and then I see the Lonesome Drifter. I did forget to take his Magnum though, whatever. And in Boulder City we meet Private Kowalski.
What the fuck are you doing? My brother died at the Battle of Hoover Dam. You're desecrating a war memorial.
Sheesh, sorry man.
Alright, apology accepted. Don't let it happen again.
He said that, but for some reason he didn't react when I did it again. Oh, and his brother's name is Donald. I know what you're thinking, but no. Don Cow is the abbreviation for his brother? I refuse to believe the writers didn't know what they were doing. Don Cow. Goofy ass name. Anyways, Lieutenant Monroe goes on to tell me about the situation they have with the last remaining Wraith Khans that I set out to go after. So I indeed did promise the lieutenant to help in the stalemate and go on to meet Jessup.
What the hell? You're that courier Benny wasted back in Good Springs. You're supposed to be dead.
From the man himself, we learned that Benny betrayed them and is probably back at the New Vegas Strip having a laugh. That's enough to get me to level 7. I kept putting points into Unarmed, and I kept making the Legion's allies unheaded. Note to self, not every challenge needs a bad pun. I did get me Benny's lighter, Jessup's bandana, a steamy and some ammo, and then I dipped. I don't care about the unnamed Khans, so I just trusted their fates to Monroe's man. In the 188 trading post we meet Veronica. She is my ticket to the Hidden Valley bunker. Cause let's be honest, between the puny bark scorpions along the way and the weakest NCR ranger to go alongside them, it doesn't fit a villain to have an explosive collar around their neck. This isn't an origin story. Weirdly enough, when I fast traveled back to Sloan, I expected a bit more action. The residents were nowhere to be seen, so I can only assume they embarked on a quest to go after a bark scorpion that came too close. Anyways, she's hungry. Meanwhile, I'm hungry for explosions. Some more sleight of hand with a couple reloads to mix things up gets me 3 keycards. And it's so funny that no one cares that I'm generating a password in a terminal they should have been more protective of. But suddenly, when I go to the other besides it and I click the thingy for a self-destruct, oh, now they care. This vilifies me with the Brotherhood. Veronica follows me outside and doesn't even aggro.
Clearly you're determined to fight the Brotherhood.
She just leaves my side, all pissy. Thanks, girl. Kaiser would have wanted me to destroy them, and there is no workaround for this one. I cannot not do it. And I don't need the caps from selling the power armor, so this did it just fine. Then I just showed her the super sleds that I found in the bunker. And this time, she had 3 doctor bags instead of 3 sporks. Good for her. Back in the 188, I do some more trading, get to almost 7,000 caps, and make an extremely safe walk until Camp McCarran. Here, there's 2 characters that we need to talk about. Silas has been captured, and Lieutenant Boyd's tasked with interrogating him. Well, I'm not gonna rescue him. In Kaiser's eyes, Silas became a dead man the second he got captured, and that's good enough for me. If I can't make it worse, I'm not gonna make it better. As for Captain Ronald Curtis, he's got another name, Pickles. And so I'm gonna give him a private fireworks show. Man is a Legion spy in one of the Fremont areas under Vulpes. Well, he used to be. As I keep discovering new locations, I reach level 8, put some more points into Unarmed, and take the Bloody Mess perk. Then I test the recompense of the Fallen on some raw hamburgers that came at me. It's fast, it's doing great damage, and it doesn't need ammo. Lovely. I also got Abilene from Field Shack, and here comes George, the boomer that's not really part of the boomers. How a man can bet half his money and still be this forgettable is beyond me. So, not wanting to realize later that I forgot to came back for my profits, I just took it all from him now. I left Hill and some steampacks later, and we get to meet the boomers. The gate guy really wants me to meet Raquel, who really wants me to meet Mother Pearl, who's extremely surprised that no one has visited them in the 5 years they've been settled here in Nellis. They've only been bombarding everyone that even came close, to the point of George settled in and turned betting into a full-time job. Hell, they've got a whole unit of Brotherhood of Steel members in their backyard. Now, Kaiser will later toss the courier into attempting to turn them into allies. Quite obviously, I want to ruin everything that I can for him before I even meet him. I'm curious to see how the dialogue's gonna go. I just need to deal with Loyal and Pearl. That's enough to set their leadership into complete disarray. So, Loyal got dynamite, Jack hurt his leg but was too dumb to put 2 and 2 together. Meanwhile, Pearl the All-Knowing is completely pissed, so I calmed her down the best way I could. She won't be having any more hissy fits, and I'll be fast-traveling to Freeside. I took a nap in the Followers' Forts and made my way into the King's School of Impersonation. Pacer doesn't let me in unless I give him a tip. And well, it ain't my job to pay him a living wage, so I give to him what anyone that demands a tip should get. A reminder that you cannot call it a tip if it's mandatory. Then I proceed to give out great service for free and without any expectations, but by all means. If you want to become a channel member or tip me, you're more than welcome to. Now, if you're wondering, why the hell am I going after the Kings? Well, that's very simple. There is someone here that is a former member. Someone that was extremely close with Kaiser. Rex. Rex used to be by Kaiser's side, and while I don't think I can get dialogue from Kaiser about Rex, I'd still like to try. And then I beat the ever-living shit out of everyone in the building, King included. That gets me vilified by Freeside, and then I make my way to the Van Graffs. This one you probably don't know about, but halfway through their questline, we'll be meeting someone that needs to be put down as well. So I let the guy at the door babysit my weapons, we see glorious power play when one of their clients tries to lowball them. She's got a gig for me, and I accept. We're now one of their entrance guards. By the 4th snail-paced NPC wanting to get in, something happens. When we try to disarm him...
Damn, I knew this wasn't gonna work.
And then he dies before I could even aim. Oh well. Gloria goes on to tell us that they've decided to fill the position with someone that has a little more experience. But that the Van Graffs have another task for us, if we're still interested in making some caps. And this is exactly the part of the quest that I'm interested in. There's a delivery to be made not that far from Freeside to a strange man.
Don't play games with me.
After fucking with him out of self-indulgence, I turned the strange man into a 5,000-piece puzzle. He's Legion. Likely another Fremont areas given the task at hand. Back to Freeside.
Give me all your cap. Whoa, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was you. Please don't hurt me. I've got a wife and kids and pets and stuff.
Bad move, my man. Bad move. I then go back to the old Mormon fort, you see, before Kaiser became Kaiser. And that being a title instead of a name, the man was known as Edward Sallow. And he was a member of the Followers of the Apocalypse. One fateful day, Edward Sallow, Bill Calhoun, and Joshua Graham were sent on an expedition to the Grand Canyon. The rest is history. And so, to annoy Kaiser even further, I've decided to annihilate every single connection of the man's past along the way. After a lot, and I do mean a lot of punching, Julie, Beatrix, Arcade, and everyone else met a gruesome fate. Oh, and the Weathers didn't pay me back my 150 caps. so yeah. Approaching the New Vegas Strip gates, Old Ben warns us not to go past the Securitrons without talking to them first. I show the Securitron that I'm not broke, despite it being in Mr. House's best interests that I get free passage. For some reason, the man makes no effort in helping us get in. He also believes in the one right squatters should always have: the right to stay the fuck away from someone else's property. Inside, Victor's back, and I agree to go on to meet everyone's favorite cyborg mummy. He rants. He rants a lot, but he does point us to the tops, where Benny is holding the platinum chip. But me, I'm gonna put Benny on hold for a while, as getting out of the tops would introduce me to Vulpes and grant me a karmic pardon from the Legion. So, until I go after everyone that I've got on my checklist, that is a no-enter zone for me. Instead, we're gonna start by visiting Gamora. Told you I'd be thorough? The Omertas have their own role during the upcoming second battle of Hoover Dam, except it's not on the dam. I'm talking about Operation Rocket. Because the second the Legion storms the dam marks the minute the Omertas launch war on the Strip. Poisoned by the Legion's charisma, the Omertas became no more than useful idiots. Kaiser's gonna use them to distract the NCR. And the Strip is going to come together and completely destroy the Omertas. Even if you ally the White Glove Society with Kaiser, the White Gloves will still side with the Strip instead of with the Omertas. Along the way, level 9 came by. I got an arm to 100 and put the rest of the points into melee weapons. And with that, you can guess where I'll be off after turning Big Sal into little chunks. Oh, and Billy's got jokes.
Last night, some girl was pounding on my door all night. Finally, I had to let her out. What?
Okay, to the Ultralux, where I refuse to hand my weapons once again, and this time our targets are Mortimer and Marjorie. I mean, Mortimer's probably enough, but I'd rather not find out later whether it was or wasn't. Now, as much as I'm enjoying Recompense of the Fallen, these guys are block demons, so it's gun time. Slowly but surely, the entrance gets redecorated into a Halloween party, one whose theme could only be described as the Bloody Mess perk. Mortimer was just fleeing. Man didn't even put up a fight, it was embarrassing. As for Marjorie, she was just standing there. What a bunch of losers. And here's where, if I want to be thorough, I cannot avoid the DLCs. And if you're thinking that I'll be going after Joshua Graham for him being a former member, you'd be wrong. In a way, it would fit. And I could just make a beeline for him, tie another loose end on Kaiser's past, but that would prevent me from meeting one of Kaiser's allies. Just like meeting this ally will prevent me from engaging in combat with Joshua, since the named NPCs disappear from Honest Hearts after we're done with it. That ally is, of course, Salt Upon Wounds. And I'll be going over Honest Hearts at level 1, lore included, in the next video, so we'll leave the deep dive for later. By the way, Old World Blues at level 1, already recorded. Anyways, yeah, I accepted the Happy Trails Caravan Company job to accompany Jed and the others into Zion. The White Legs cannot be harmed until I become the sole survivor whose wife wasn't taken in the divorce. And then I guess I'm supposed to pretend I care for all these people that I met in the past 5 minutes? Follows Chalk shows up, all disappointed that I won't be ruining the entire questline for mistaking a tribal for another tribal. And past the Eastern Virgin, I discover that not only are the dead horses alive, but today is a bad day for horse girls. In Angel Cave, if you think that's a lot of guns, just you wait until Joshua shows you his stack of toilet paper. We're then tasked with finding a compass, ignoring little skeletons, grabbing walkie-talkies. I get to level 10, put the points into melee, and take on the Fight the Power perk. I think the Little Scout lunchboxes are just one of Daniels' fetishes. I mean, what is this? And to finish it off, vodka's enough to sterilize a medical supply kit. Then, past the Narrows, it's time to meet the Sorrows. Waking Cloud says hi, Daniel thanks me for the supplies, follows Chuck leaves, and Waking Cloud's gonna stick around for a bit. Before leaving, Joshua shows up to engage in his favorite pastime. Preaching about ideals he's twisted to justify his actions, even now. Let's face it, he's not very give the other cheek, is he? Ain't that I give a fuck? The White Legs gotta go. And so, we're off to grab a map. I get to level 11, around melee to 75, put the rest of the points into guns, steal a couple totems, organize a grenade giveaway, Miss Cloud won't shut up, I disarm a ton of bear traps by myself, and kill the bears instead of leading them to the traps. I mean, I know we're doing it so the Sorrows and the dead horses won't step on them by mistake, but the irony. Back to Daniel, and to his dismay, I'm not a little bitch like he is. Cloud Girl leaves, I get to level 12, keep improving guns, and go for the awesome Super Slam perk. Then, I discover that when Joshua invites you to go for a walk, he actually means a fucking marathon. After crossing the entirety of the map from north to south, I see the stability mods I've chosen make everyone do little jumps. It's goofy as hell, but it's a lot better than getting a crash every 2 minutes. Oh, and Salt Upon Wounds thinks he's funny.
Out man. Kuna man mad. He kill all white legs. You talk. You stop.
Good. That's the point. Didn't you kill my entire crew? Plus every single dead horse and sorrow you came across? It's not as funny when you're playing defense, is it? I know. That must suck for you. And with that, the prospects of the White Legs fully joining Kaiser's Legion as new recruits completely fall apart.
Tomorrow will be here soon. And there is still much work to be done.
Indeed, and this gets me another level up, so I rounded guns to 50 and made my stimpaks slightly better. And for my detour, we get pretty amazing weapons and armor. Salt Upon's Wounds, Power Fist, and Joshua Graham's armor are looking good. They also fit with that Kenturian helmet, and it's time. And I'm not eager to try Lonesome Road at level 1, that's gonna suck, but for me, not for you. I'm sure you'll have a good time, so this can be preparation, I guess. Anyways, to the Divide. You can go home, courier. Thanks, mate, but no, I really can't. By the way, go on, try and guess what I'm here for. It is not Ulysses. In the silo, we get Eddie's cousin up and running.
Ralphie! Fly far, fly fast!
He unlocks the terminal, and the Sentrybot punching party begins. 45 XP for each. We'll be leveling up hella fast here as well. As for the first marked men we encounter, these are not your typical ghouls. Between the excruciating and unavoidable pain they cannot escape from. I mean, for fuck's sake, at least Josh was well done, these are just raw. And from the base commander's desk we get the Silo Network security codes. Eddie's cousin hacks some more, and everything wants me dead, so I'll just fist my way out of here. I also should have brought more Stimpaks, but that's okay. I'll be able to buy some from the commissary terminals. And then, the man, the myth, the bear. The bull, the bear, the bull, the bear and the bull, and the bear and the bull, and the bear and the bull. I know, it's a meme. I like Ulysses though. Obviously, it's more because of the voice actor and the weapons and armor than the rants, but still, after he shuts up, we are free to explore Hopeville. I'm pleased to see the Power Fist obliterating these douchebags, but yeah. There is a reason why the game recommends you come here way later than I just did. Sure, it's gonna be fine. Right? Grenade launcher, a light shining in the darkness with VODs, and I get to level 14. That's point to guns, and I'm not missing out on the second rank of the toughness perk. No way. I picked up Red Glare, and most importantly, the detonator. I won't be using the detonator's glitch to my advantage though. Then I got reminded that a safe distance is recommended when you go explosion watching. I popped up a blister, made a beeline to the tunnel, one punched the Deathclaw, that was awesome, and then I got a reality check against the venomous and hulking tunnelers. Theirs isn't gonna be pretty, but it's doable, and that's all that matters. Going through the tunnel got me the in-game Lord Death perk, and on the other side, I tamed the beast. Don't think I can get him to sit on command though, but he learned to stay. As for the Deathclaws here on the highway, I am basically doomed if two come my way. But as long as I still got some Stimpaks, it's fine. And it's not just Ulysses that rants anytime he can. Eddie's cousin is more vocal than a mute prostitute during a house fire. I know it burns, inside and out, but I'm not a doctor, a therapist, or a firefighter. I also don't have a pun for bonesaw, and I'm sure as shit not going to imply you saw me boning him. That would just been unfelt. Anyways, courier bad because unknowing what was in a package made booms in the Divide, and Ulysses is so mad about it that he decided that for us to reach him we should knowingly fire a rocket and give this accidental hellhole a new crater on purpose. Instead of, standing by the entrance or coming to us, nah, my man just goes the reverse psychology route. Leave. Don't come, Courier 6. I was also never proud of you either, Dad. Also, I know that it exploded mid-air, but Ulysses couldn't have planned that. Plus, debris ain't nothing. Though, yeah, it's still not a crater. Could have been, though. That triggers Eddie into some more trauma dumping. I actually had to remind him that he wasn't a dump truck Latina, just a toaster, so nobody's got the time for that. And then we get to the part that makes me go, how the fuck am I gonna survive those tunnelers on a level 1 run? Stealth boys? After a dozen tunnelers, we get half a dozen more tunnelers. And then we reach a building. You guessed it. We got the other half dozen tunnelers. This was starting to get so ridiculous that I started testing new weapons. The red glare sucks. Well, my build sucks for the red glare. Back to the power fist, and after a couple tries, I get to level 16. I got guns to 95 and took the action boy perk. Outside, I had to bear the former bull some more. We got some eye candy. The marked men are okay to deal with, but fuck me, I'm once again staring at a coordinated mini horde of tunnelers. I don't even remember how many times it took me, but way more than I thought. But finally, even the queen gets to be put down. And that's when I see an autodoc. Nice. Oh, and then Ulysses tells Ed-E. I know I was complaining about having to skip dialogue, but that's because I'll be going over the lore in the level 1 challenges. Doesn't mean I don't want Eddie's cousin bothering me. I just wanted the thing to talk while I could walk, instead of freezing time. This is needing more inputs than a Vice City cheat code. And well, here's where everything went to shit for almost an hour. Remember when I said I was good with death claws as long as it was one-on-one? Well, these are tougher, and there's 2 of them, and I've cycled through all my weapons. Time for plan B. That stealth boy that I got from Jackrabbit Springs. It worked. Well, to get away from the death claws, that is. And then I see that I'm getting tapped on the shoulder by Blade. Well, I took his through Blunt, spent the other half an hour looking for the path to Ulysses' temple, and went back to a commissary where I spent over 7,000 caps in repairs. And then I bought all the stim packs that I could. Inside the temple, I get to level 17, max guns, put the rest of the points into medicine, bitch fist some more sentries, and free Eddie's cousin. Down the elevator, we're once again gaslit into a guild trap with plenty of bears and bulls in between. A TLDR later, oh man, I forgot how annoying Ulysses' iBots were when they start regenerating his health. But I'm able to hold my own despite being on the 4th attempt when... I think we can cheese him. I turned the Blade of the West into a Sparta kick and that worked. And ain't no way I'm letting his loot go to waste, so I toggled collision off, got my well-deserved rewards, and came back up to destroy the remaining marked man and the iBots. After a good while fighting Ulysses, this was a breeze, and I'm really enjoying the Blade of the West. Now, we can, nuke stuff. In theory, I can nuke the NCR, the Legion, both, or cancel the launch. In practice, I've got to nuke the Legion, and even though it would be better eye candy to nuke both, it's worse for the Legion if I just nuke them. Now, I am become Death, Destroyer of Dry Wells, and we get some more amazing weapons and armor for it. I can also choose another special point, and if I knew the NCR would accept me for this, I would have nuked both. Also, I'm pretty sure I was vilified by the Legion already? Whatever, that's another level up, so for 18, I improve my medicine some more and take the 2nd rank of the Action Boy perk. Then, I went to buy Stimmies, and this entire DLC was for Gaius Magnus, one of the Legion's commanders. To get to Dry Wells, we just gotta go to Cottonwood Cove, find the boat, and row for a bit. Here we see that the entire unit has instantly become irradiated. I'll be honest, I am not an expert on radiation. Shocker. I know, but even I don't think it's supposed to work like instant noodles. Anyways, thanks to the Super Slam perk and my restocked stash of stim packs, this was nowhere nearly as bad as some of the tunneler fights. So that was a nice surprise. It's also extremely likely that I was thinking of the Courier's Mile difficulty. Dry Wells and the Long 15 I don't think are as hard. After beating the ever-living crap out of the guys near the coast, I went deeper into the settlements, where Gaius Magnus awaited. Fun fact, much like Ulysses and Colonel Royas, Magnus too have 10 points in all of the special stats. He is extremely tanky, but I'm not a glass cannon thanks to the toughness perks and my high endurance, so quite predictably, I end up inheriting everything that he owns, and let me tell you, the armor of the 87th tribe is excellent. I'll be using it. Now that all the detours have been made, it's time to go back to the New Vegas Strip and into the tops. Over here I ask Swank, You know Benny's about to ruin your gig, right? I showed him proof, he told me he likes being higher up in the strip's casinos, so I get the green light to investigate Benny's room. And over there we find a whole Securitron that cannot say no. But today's not about Yes Man.
What in the goddamn?
Hey, Benny! What's up, man? You owe me. You know that, right? To make it up to me, he gifts me yet another apartment. This time, it's the presidential suite. Despite that, he doesn't always ambush you. Well, not if you play your cards right. Through a 50 speech check, and despite him telling us that he's gonna have to skip the strip because of us, we can convince him that if he doesn't come after us, we won't go after him.
The eyes of the mighty Kaiser are upon you. He admires your accomplishments and bestows upon you the exceptional gift of his mark.
It seems that Kaiser has heard about us. He admires my accomplishments. Yeah, I've only destroyed what? Everything he ever did in the Mojave outside of Nipton, the Legates Camp, and Fortification Hill? And for our efforts, we get the equivalent of a presidential pardon, some jewelry, and an invitation to meet the Baldy in person. And we're also tipped off that Benny's likely making haste for Kaiser's camp. Everything is falling into place, so naturally, Vulpes has gotta go. I then fast travel back to the Mojave Drive-In, and some legionary assassins are waiting for me, but they're not aggroed. Oh, and who won the lottery?
Yeah! Who won the lottery? I did!
Just cause they let you go doesn't mean I will, and that applies to boxcars as well. And to the guys on the crosses. And what? Man, I wanted to meet Gaben. But because I've been a very, very naughty boy in Lonesome Road, I cannot for the life of me get away with killing Vulpes without having Gaben ready to attack me on sight. So I reload, let Vulpes go back to the fort, and when I see Lucullus, you know, I gotta try and slip some dynamite into his pocket. I row the boat myself and I'll have to reload. Fine, I'll just try and go after them in the fort later. The legionary main gate guard forces me to disarm. He even takes away our stimpaks. I'll have to get creative. And so, feeling naked even though I'm wearing Joshua Graham's armor, I go on to meet the Mojave's most important Baldy.
You're the courier who caused so much trouble for my legion, and yet you dare come before me. The great Khans aren't exactly clamoring to fight for my legion now. The garrison I established at Nelson has been wiped out.
Wait, that's it? I knew he wouldn't reference the DLCs or the quest I've fumbled for later, but the great Khans and Nelson? And that's it? That's disappointing. Anyways, I agreed to start sabotaging the Legion from the inside. And my first reward's gonna be to decide Benny's fate. After I help him fulfill his lifelong dream of feeling the ground shake. He wants me to destroy whatever's in the bunker below the fort. Hands me the platinum chip, and we can say hi to Benny.
Why, you little promise breaker. Let me live, Benny, and I'll never come after you, pinky swear. What a fink.
In the weather monitoring station, I get all of my items back. Mr. House shows up on a screen, all proud that I got here ahead of schedule, and obviously, if Kaiser wants me to destroy whatever's in the forts, I am instead going to be upgrading Mr. House's Securitron army into their Mark II. Before I leave, I put every single item that I've got in a desk. Right before talking to the weather station guard, and that is enough to fool the game. Cause now, I can just retrieve my items from the desk and use them freely. Oh, and for some reason I cannot find Melody. But who's all happy and giggly?
I felt the ground shake a while ago.
As for Benny, he's going on a cross. And our next task is to take Mr. House out of the picture. Something else that I can't just not do. I also kept trying to find Melody. Couldn't, and gotta take this opportunity to raise all the chaos that I can. Cause after I leave and come back, not gonna be able to use my weapons. There's also no way to talk to Anthony about Sergeant Teddy, but here is a little consolation prize. I can kill pretty much everyone except for a few named NPCs if I go for sneak crits. So that's exactly what I did. And one guy just kept doing push-ups even though... Come on, he had to feel his body coming all over it. Not in that way though. And yeah, the blacksmith, Otho, even Siri and the guy in the doggo near the tent's entrance got a couple taps, and so did Lupa and Anthony. If the game's not going to allow me to go into the slightest worst reputation with the Legion, I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. I don't care what they think of me, I care about what I do to them. Then the guys in the weather monitoring station piss me off. They will not stop staring at me. They keep on turning. So, knowing it would be impossible to go after certain NPCs like Lucius, and at this point feeling it would be pointless to keep going after unnamed NPCs, I just visited Benny. Told him that he's got a much better view than the one he gave me in Good Springs, and then I made my way to the Lucky 38. Now, Mr. House. Kaiser wants him out of the picture, which I cannot avoid, but he said that I too have an interest in his death. Keyword, too, meaning he expects me to kill him. That I can avoid. Well, kinda. I can take the mummy out of his pod, deactivate his access to the Lucky 38 network, and in a year or so, he will likely die from being exposed to germs or whatever. It's either this or nothing at all, so I'll take it. And this gets me to level 20, I maxed melee, put some more points into medicine, and took the Grim Reaper sprint perk. Back to Kaiser, and he's already gotten the news about Mr. House. Now, he wants me to offer an alliance to the Boomers. Whoopsie, I kinda wiped out their leadership.
You are good, aren't you?
Hey, I could only get them on the Legion side or weaken them. Kaiser's praising the worst outcome over here. Then, he wants an alliance with the White Glove Society and... bad migraine, it seems? Oh, and if you talk to him again, disobeying his order of coming back tomorrow, he asks everyone around him to kill you. So I go outside, wait a day, come back, show my concern, and oopsie, yeah, I killed their leaders as well. Next up, he wants me to destroy the Mojave chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel. We've done it. Well, that's more than a migraine, it's a whole absent seizure. He once again goes for a nap, you better not interrupt his beauty sleep, and 24 hours later we can tell him that the Brotherhood's been destroyed a long time ago. Now, he wants to talk to us in private. He admits to an illness, asks for a diagnosis, and we can tell him that it's most likely a tumor.
Figured as much. Congratulations, you just became my personal physician.
Dr. Kyan, at your service. A doctor so good that may have forgot that the medicine check would require 75 instead of 50. Not that it makes a difference. He's going on about the Autodoc and how we can try and retrieve the module it's missing, but I just need to wear clothes that gives me +5 medicine and then read a magazine for another +10. That'll do it just fine. And I've got both already. Daniel's outfit and an issue of Today's Physician. I'll also need some surgical tools, so I paid the New Vegas Medical Clinic a visit. And these guys don't like me very much, because they are followers of the apocalypse. They also didn't stand a chance, so back to the fort.
Kaiser sleeps, but doesn't awaken.
Lucius takes the leadership role while Sleeping Beauty is on a break. I equip the outfit, read the magazine, and holy shit, was that a kickflip?
Kaiser is dead, at your hands. This crime cannot go unpunished.
So I was right. Medicine 50. Enough for this check, just not for the operation. Also, of course this can go unpunished. Unfortunately for Lucius, he'll only be in the leadership position until Legate Linnaeus is notified about his new promotion. In the meanwhile, we've got one last task before going to Hoover them. We are to meet Cato Hostilius and eliminate President Kimball. But first, I'm gonna take Kaiser's armor and displacer glove, and I cannot resist, I gotta give this a go. Lo and behold, and despite no one else in the tent caring about Lucius, cannot complete the Legion's questline if he dies, so I'll have to reload. Now, regarding Kimball, I can just not do anything and let him leave after the speech. I can also make a poor attempt at killing him so he picks up the cue and leaves, but what I really want to try is... Does Lucius still trust me if I outright kill Cato?
Killing Kimball would have struck fear into the NCR. It's unfortunate that you weren't able to take advantage of this opportunity.
He doesn't care! Awesome! And it's time. We've been tasked with reporting to Legate Linnaeus and to take part in the second battle of Hoover them. This was also enough for yet another level up. I put the points into medicine, equipped Kaiser's armor and Ulysses' mask for the meeting, and...
You are the courier Lord Kaiser has spoken of.
Did Kaiser only compliment me? Really? Anyway, I'm stuck in a cutscene. I cannot move until the game teleports me out of the tent. Something, we got troops in the tunnels, go kill General Lee Oliver. Yeah, I got it. And I'm thinking, Ulysses' duster, Salt Upon Wound's helmet, and Blade of the West. Now, I can't not kill Oliver unless I use a skill check, but the guy's kinda useless. I'll just be doing the NCR a favor by putting him out of a job. As for the Legion, well, my one last act of rebellion can only be to both not release the Legion reinforcements from the intake tower, and to not harm any of the NCR's troops until I reach Oliver's compounds. More casualties for the Legion if I don't. Mid them, I can ask a veteran Decanas how he got here ahead of me. Intake tunnels. Well, go on then, you go release the others if you want it so badly, fast boy. A jog and plenty of steam packs later.
So you must be the courier the reports mentioned. Pass this message on to your commander. Hoover Dam will not fall while I still draw breath.
That can be arranged, man. Careful what you wish for, you just might get it. For I could link, a magic barrier protects Kimball as he runs away like a coward. Just leaving his men to do the dirty work for him. Now that I think about it, the fuck is Lanius doing in every single ending? Get to the battlefront! No wonder the courier's the key to the Mojave. Both the NCR and the Legion's leaders for this battle just sit back in the safest place they can. Well, the safest place they can while still being part of the war zone. At least Kaiser is old and Kimball's a president. But Oliver and Lanius just give you orders, then a little tap on the shoulder and a high five once everything is done. The NCR Rangers met the same demise as the troopers, and in the top floor we've got a 6-pack of tin cans. And seriously, I'll never get over the fact that these guys would be oh so much helpful. Maybe they could even shift the course of the battle. Instead, they are only here to protect Oliver. They don't even show in the Legate's camp if you side with anyone else, it makes no sense. And once again, the Super Slam Park is not only ridiculously good, it's also funny. And I'm high level enough where I get to truly enjoy this fight by mopping the floor with these guys. As for the General, I've decided to show him the light, shining in darkness. And can you beat Fallout New Vegas as the villain's villain? Of course you can. As always, remember to check the playlists for more challenges and the channel for more videos. And I'd like to give a big shout out to Steve Whittle and to John Walker for their support of the channel. And to you! So, thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, I hope I'll see you on the next one. And I hope you have a good one. Bye!
But for now, we rest. Know that your efforts are appreciated and will not go unrewarded. But we can speak of that later. For now, come. We must see to the burning of the dead.
And so